Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
We are diving deep into a topic that, honestly, for so many people, it just steals the joy from daily life.
hmm
We're
hmm
talking about that chronic sluggishness, slow digestion, and you shared a ton of sources that give us 8, really effective non-drug strategies to basically reset everything.
And quickly, too, some of these can show results in just 24 to 48 hours. That's the mission today, to give you a total actionable overhaul.
Right.
And when we talk about this, it's not just about, how often you go. The medical definition is less than 3 times a week.
But it's more than that, isn't it? The
Yeah.
sources really focus on the quality.
Exactly. That's often the most frustrating part. The hard pellet-like stools, the straining, that annoying feeling that you're never really done, even if you technically go every day.
And the hidden costs of
Yeah.
that buildup are huge. This is
Yeah.
way beyond just discomfort. The sources link it to chronic fatigue, low mood.
Oh, yeah. Headaches, bloating, gas, even skin issues, rashes, spots, things that seem to come out of nowhere. It's your body signaling that the system is backed up.
And long-term, it gets pretty serious. The risks mentioned were hemorrhoids, anal fissures.
Inflammation of diverticula, and yeah, an increased lifetime risk of colon cancer. It sounds scary, but the good news is most of this is completely correctable.
And that's our focus. The data points to these really common mistakes we all make.
Yep.
Sitting wrong, eating too fast, and a big one, hydrating incorrectly. We're going to cover 8 solutions, but really pay attention to number 7.
Yes.
We're calling that the key forgotten detail because it's the piece that makes everything else actually work.
Let's jump right in with the simplest fix, the one that's all about mechanics.
It sounds almost too simple, but the research says we sit wrong. The standard 90-degree angle of a modern toilet. Why is that posture so bad for us?
It's because it creates a biological kink. The sources explain the physiology perfectly. When you sit straight up, there's a muscle inside, the puborectalis muscle.
Oh.
And its job is to keep you continent, to keep things closed. So when you sit like you're on a chair, that muscle stays tense and it literally squeezes the exit shut. It's like trying to run water through a sharply bent garden hose.
The king toes analogy. That
Yeah.
makes total sense. So you're forced to strain against it.
You're forcing it, exactly. And that straining is what causes the hemorrhoids and the fissures. So solution 1 is all about posture. You want to mimic a squat.
How do you do that on a normal toilet?
You just need to elevate your knees about 15 to 20 centimeters, small stool, a little bench under your feet. That's all it takes.
And that simple change in angle,
Mm-hmm.
what does it do to that muscle?
It immediately relaxes it. The rectum straightens out, the kink is gone, and everything can pass easily, naturally, without straining. And to really optimize it, the sources say focus on your breathing.
Not pushing.
No pushing, just deep diaphragmatic breaths. Inhale, exhale. That provides all the natural pressure you need.
That's a huge win, just from changing the geometry. Okay, let's pivot from mechanics to what we're putting in our bodies. The sources had a really strong landing about what not to use.
This is critical. There's a strong warning against common natural laxatives. Things like senna leaf or Cascara sagrada.
But wait, things like senna, they're herbal, they're natural. You'd think they'd be the good guys.
That's the trap. Yes, they're herbal, but they're classified as irritative laxatives. They work by literally irritating the intestinal lining.
Wow, so it's an aggressive approach.
It is. It forces these intense muscle contractions, and that can cause cramping, inflammation, and worst of all, dependency. Your body forgets how to work on its own. That's why the sources steer us towards a gentle alternative, fennel.
Fennel, so what makes that different?
The key compound in it is called anahol. And unlike the irritants, anahol works by relaxing the intestinal muscles, so it allows for smoother, more natural movement, and it also helps expel trapped gas, which is a huge bonus.
Relaxation versus irritation, that's a clear difference. The prep is simple, right? A tablespoon of seeds in hot water.
Yep. 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds, 250 milliliters of boiling water, let it steep for 10 minutes, covered, and drink it warm, unsweetened, maybe 2 or 3 times a day.
A very calming strategy.
Yeah.
Which leads us to solution 3, which is less about calming and more about actively waking the system up.
The morning ritual.
The warm water strategy. This one sounds a little bit like an old wives' tale, but the sources give it some real scientific weight.
They absolutely do. The idea is, upon waking, and this is key, before coffee, before anything else, you drink a large volume of water. About 300 to 500 milliliters.
So 1 or 2 big glasses.
Exactly. At room temperature or warm, on a totally empty stomach.
And what does that signal to the gut?
It's a powerful wake-up call. That sudden volume hits the empty stomach, and it triggers what's called the gastrocolic reflex. It's a signal that basically tells your intestine, okay, the system's starting up. Time to get moving.
And a lot of people feel the urge pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, often within 20 to 30 minutes. It's a fantastic way to establish regularity. And the sources suggest an optional boost, adding half a squeezed lemon.
For what? The vitamin C?
That plus potassium and magnesium. It helps with fluid balance and supports your kidneys, so it complements the whole strategy really nicely.
Okay, we've got mechanics, we've got liquids. Now for the solids. Fiber. And the sources pointed to one fruit that seems to outperform the classics.
Solution 4 is all about the kiwi. A lot of people think papaya or prunes, but the sources suggest 2 kiwis a day are often more effective.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Why kiwi? What's its secret weapon?
It has a special enzyme called actinidin. You can think of it like an internal cleanup crew. It helps digest protein, and it actively speeds up intestinal movement.
So it's not just the fiber.
It's the enzyme combined with the fiber, the high water content, the vitamin C. It's the whole package. A really powerful synergistic effect.
And the research busted 2 common myths. First, the peel. I was shocked to read you can eat the peel.
You absolutely can. It's completely edible, and it has even more fiber and antioxidants. And second, the myth about the seeds being bad for people with diverticula.
Right, that they get stuck.
Total myth. The research confirms the fiber in the seeds is actually beneficial. No risk at all.
And if you find kiwi a little too acidic,
Blend it. Or mix it with a slightly unripe yellowish-green banana and a little cinnamon. That unripe banana adds resistant starch, which is a fantastic prebiotic.
okay, now let's talk prunes. Everyone knows they work, but the sources say there's a right way and a wrong way to use them.
There is. Their power is a 1-2 punch. You have the fiber, sure, but more importantly, they have sorbitol.
Sorbitol, what does that do?
It's a type of sugar that your body doesn't absorb well, so it stays in the gut, and it acts like a magnet for water. It pulls hydration into the intestine, softening everything from the inside out.
So if the sorbitol is the key, you need to get as much of it as possible, which means just eating them dry isn't the best way.
Absolutely not. Rehydration is critical. The sources say to soak 4 or 5 prunes in a glass of water overnight.
Okay.
In the morning, you eat the hydrated prunes, and then, and this is the most important part, you gently warm the soaking water and you drink it, like a tea.
Ah, so all that sorbitol has leached into the water.
Exactly. That water becomes a powerful natural remedy. Just, start with 3 or 4 and see how you go. You don't want to overdo it.
Okay, that makes sense. Now we're getting into the system overhaul. Solution 6, improving your microbiota.
Your inner ecosystem, that army of bacteria that does everything, and it's under constant attack from, modern life. Antibiotics, stress, sugar,
And lack of fiber.
and especially a lack of varied fiber. When that ecosystem gets out of balance, everything slows down.
The sources talked about turning your kitchen into a pharmacy, focusing on probiotics and prebiotics. What's the difference?
It's simple. Probiotics are the reinforcements. They're the good bacteria themselves. You find them in things like natural yogurt, kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut.
And prebiotics.
Prebiotics are the fuel for the good bacteria you already have. They are specific fibers that feed your army.
And what are the best sources for those?
Raw garlic and onion are fantastic. Oats, brown rice, those slightly unripe bananas again. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, asparagus. The strategy is to combine them every day.
Like yogurt with oats and banana for breakfast.
Exactly. A salad with some raw onion, dark greens with every meal. The more variety and color, the better your ecosystem will function.
And that brings us to the big one, the key forgotten detail. Solution 7, how to drink water correctly. We tease this, but the sources say this is the absolute make or break strategy.
This is where so many people fail, even when they're eating tons of fiber. The relationship is simple. Fiber pushes the stool, but water softens it.
So without enough water, the fiber can actually make things worse.
It can cause a traffic jam. The fiber swells up like a sponge, and if there's no water, it gets stuck.
We know the amount is roughly 2 to 3 liters a day, but the crucial error isn't the volume, it's the timing.
It's the timing. It's all about distribution. You have to drink a glass of water every 1 to 2 hours. The grave error is waiting until you feel thirsty.
Why is that so bad?
Thirst is a late signal. It means you're already dehydrated. Your body is already rationing water, and the first place it steals water from is the colon, which hardens the stool.
So you have to be proactive. Drink when you're not even thirsty.
You have to. And a great tip the sources gave was to drink most of your water before 5 p.m. That way you're hydrated during the day, but you're not waking up all night to go to the bathroom.
And there was a green juice recipe for reinforcement.
Yes, a perfect way to get hydration and fiber together. Water, celery, fennel or kale, a bit of ginger, and an apple with the peel. Blend it all up, and this is critical. Do not filter it. You need that fiber.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We've covered diet, liquids, bacteria, but there's one more piece. Solution 8 is about movement.
The intestine is a muscle. And if you sit for 8-10 hours a day, that muscle gets weak and lazy. It doesn't matter how perfect your diet is, you need to physically stimulate it.
So what's the minimum effective dose here? We're not talking about running a marathon.
Not at all. Simplicity is key. A 15 to 20-minute walk every day, especially after a meal. That's incredibly stimulating. Also, 10 to 15 simple squats in the morning.
Why squats?
They activate the deep core muscles, which basically gives your intestines a gentle internal massage. And simple stretches like trunk twists literally wake up the whole abdominal area.
These 8 solutions seem to cover every angle. The research says they work for, what, 90% of people?
About 90%, yes. But we have to talk about the other 10%, the signs that something else might be going on.
Right. When do you need to see a professional?
If you do all of this meticulously for several weeks and you see zero improvement, that's your signal. An underlying cause could be a slow thyroid or hypothyroidism.
Or irritable bowel syndrome, the constipation dominant type.
Exactly. And certain medications are huge culprits. Some antidepressants, antacids with aluminum, blood pressure drugs, certain pain meds, you have to talk to your doctor. And in very rare cases, it could be a physical blockage.
In which case you absolutely need a clinical diagnosis to figure out the root cause. So what does this all mean? We've gone from this, really draining problem to a complete integrated strategy.
It's a synergy, isn't it? It's the posture, the proactive hydration, the right kinds of fiber, feeding your gut bacteria, and then the movement.
Yeah.
It all has to work together.
The final provocative thought the research left us with is, it's really about a conflict. A conflict between our biology and our modern lives. Our bodies evolved to move, to squat, and we spend all day sitting.
We do. We sit for hours, and then we sit on a toilet that puts our body in the wrong position. We're creating the problem with our convenience. But the amazing thing is, you now have all the tools you need to resolve that conflict just by working with your body's design, not against it.